There it is.
I can see it.
It says live.
There's a red light now all of a sudden.
On ours, it says, and there's a yellow thing that says live.
Mine's red, and it says red and live.
Oh my goodness!
That's how you know it's on.
On the red camera, huh?
Yeah, you can. Can't you tell?
Yeah.
There's so many pixels. There's dozens of pixels. I mean,
pixels that my eyes can register colors.
So we're already rolling, but I'm gonna go ahead and do my greeting because I always do my greeting.
This is your podcast, man.
So
cut out this beginning part out.
This is like we're in your home.
Yeah.
Put us around.
I might leave this in and then awkwardly go to the greeting.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, here we go. I like to cough before I do the greeting too, just to get it all out there.
Cough with you?
Let's all cough together, okay?
Yeah, one, two, three. Greetings and welcome to an exciting edition of the State Lines Podcast. I am freaking live via Google Hangouts.
Wait, we're gonna have to hold. Somebody just knocked at the door. I'm sorry.
You have to start over, bud.
You're gonna start your greeting over.
Podcasting on hold.
I mean, are you gonna get the door?
Oh, nice.
Who is that?
Well, hang on. So we got my girlfriend's friend just came over. So hang on.
I know.
It's a house, man. You know, things happen.
Yeah.
Not at my house.
Out here.
There's no garage here.
Yeah.
So.
Well, this is real exciting stuff. I'm gonna try and spin my laptop around to show you my house, but I can't.
Are you showing us your place?
Yeah, there's a lamp.
There's a double tour. You guys can tour right now. We're touring Haas's place. So.
I like your cabinets.
That's my kitchen.
Your cabinets are nice.
Thanks, man.
There's some nice tile work.
Yeah, the backsplash. It's pretty fancy.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So, Haas, your place, you're like, what, 32?
33.
Oh, Jesus' age.
Yeah.
Don't die this year.
Yeah, no pressure, right? No pressure.
I mean, he only, saved everyone at this point.
Yeah, but, whatever.
Plus he had sick abs.
I went over to a friend's house the other night, and they have that house, and I'm going to describe it like this, and it's the way I would describe yours right now. Like early 30s, really nice. What I mean by that, DJ's kind of looks like that, and he's not even in his early 30s yet.
Not yet.
But, my place looks really eclectic and weird. And I see Haas in this. I see Florida State red.
No, I would say your place could be.
It doesn't feel like an adult.
I think it does. For you, I think it's pretty adult.
Yeah,
I think
the right.
For you, Ken, you immature son of
no,
a bitch.
No, not that you're immature. It just represents the adult that you are.
I guess so.
Yeah. Who hasn't let go?
To play it out like you're above that shit, and I think it's just your version of it.
I'm not above it. Here. Let me
Dude,
take Haas on the tour.
Let's just put it this way. Look at your background compared to my background. Yours is way cooler. And there's Bart freaking Simpson. And some sort of dragon creature. Ooh, the UFO picture. That's cool.
You got Alfred Hitchcock up there.
Nice. The cock.
We're getting to Beavis and Butthead.
Love the cock.
I know you do.
Cheers, Norm.
It's a dartboard. It's really cool.
The Cheers thing is a dartboard?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, yeah. There it is. I kind of see it.
What's happening in the... Oh.
There's Beavis and Butthead.
You'll notice that in the Beavis and Butthead costume, I'm also in the Beavis and Butthead costume. These chords really made it difficult on me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was the same with me. I was trying to pivot and it wasn't working so good. Pivot. Nice. Is that your True Detective season 1 shrine?
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's not wrong.
He's dead.
My Lord and Savior is not a True Detective shrine, Jarrett.
So yeah,
it's awesome, man.
Thanks,
I like your place.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
You know what? He also likes his place.
You moved out.
I'm sorry. I feel like you moved out.
I could be wrong, but I'm not.
Yeah, we're literally recording, so I could use this in the finished product.
You could use it against us as blackmail.
There's nothing there. There's blackmail material. You guys are cool.
You don't know that.
Hey, if you guys see me look up like this, it's because football's on.
Oh,
I
Saturday,
see. I see how it is.
It's
I
Saturday.
see where we fall on the priorities. Ken gets it. I don't.
Yeah, it's not a Florida State game though, so you're fine.
They're not playing right now.
Yeah,
So.
they played last night. How weird is that? All right, anyway, let's jump back in. I'm gonna do my cheesy greeting one more time.
Okay.
Are we gonna be able to jump back in, or are we gonna have okay.
Oh, just kidding.
Okay. You can get his greeting in. Go ahead. Your greeting might get interrupted again. Oh yeah. No, do that.
Yeah, we can just wait.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
We'll wait. We'll wait a minute.
That's what we're gonna do. So, what's the coolest
about your podcast?
About my podcast? Yeah, my podcast is whatever I want it to be, basically. And I don't mean that in like a I'm the man kind of way. It's just, it's just kind of like a virtual playground for myself to talk about sports, interview interesting people, talk about movies, music.
Who were you pointing to?
The skull behind you.
That's Cannon right there.
That's
Who
all
is it?
that's left of Cannon.
Cannon the skull?
Yeah. In my little image that you just hit up on the Google Hangouts?
Yeah. That's him?
Yep.
Man, that's Cannon. Mr. Frightoverse himself.
Yep.
Is that Jack up behind DJ's head from
It is. Good call.
Yeah.
That's spot.
Nice. Ooh, that was on video.
Like I said, blackmail material.
No, that's good. That's good too, man.
Yeah.
She was a looker. He definitely is the climber, and she's the settler.
Listen, we all know we're all climbers.
Yeah.
We play the game.
We have to. Ain't none of us winning any awards here.
Nope. At least not for good looks.
No.
I'm gonna do the podcast like this.
Hold on.
Hello, I'm the versus man.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
Time to get serious.
Here comes my greeting.
Give me this greeting.
No, I'm gonna laugh.
Did you want to cough it out again?
Let's cough again.
Let's cough it out. All right, 1, 2, 3. Greetings and welcome to another exciting edition of the State Lines Podcast. This is attempt number 2 at doing my greeting, and I think this is going to be the one. This is going to be awesome. I'm super stoked to have live via Google Hangout Ken and DJ.
Hey.
2 of my best buds. I haven't seen you guys in way too long because you live on the other coast out there in California. Yep. And you're doing the darn thing. Like you both moved out there how long ago?
5.5 years. Holy shit.
Yep.
Yeah, you're crossing state lines right now.
Literally state lines.
Literally state lines.
Yeah.
Lines almost.
Yeah. Well, depending on what part of LA, right?
We're close.
Yeah, right.
We're close to Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. So I think I came to visit you guys, like 2 years ago? 2.5 years ago?
4 years ago.
What? No.
4 years ago.
No, that's
bullshit.
bullshit.
It's 4 years ago?
It was 3 or 4 years ago. We just talked about this recently.
Yeah.
When you sent a picture, you were like, "Look at this."
Oh, of the pizza?
Yeah, from like 3 years ago.
Oh, the pizza tower.
Yeah.
It's a leaning tower of pizza.
Yeah. So I know no one wants to hear us reminisce, but in my time hop the other day, a picture showed up of their house, and it was literally pizza boxes stacked from floor to 6 feet high.
5.5.
5.5 feet high pizza boxes.
Listen,
what was that, like 2 weeks worth of damage?
Probably. Listen, when Ken and I lived together, all right, we weren't the cleanest of folk.
It wasn't even a matter of
pizza.
It wasn't even a matter of cleanliness. It was that we ate a lot of pizza,
We did eat
and it wasn't worth taking a pizza box to the trash again every time.
Not one. Yeah.
We had a giant box, and so we stacked the boxes in the other box, and often it overflowed out top of that other box.
I'm imagining you guys carrying it to the dumpster like a Dr. Seuss character. It's like
it's pretty accurate.
I described it, once we had ladies in our lives, that we weren't uncleanly, we were just lazy.
Right?
Yeah, I can totally see that. When I was at your place, I wasn't like, oh, disgusting. I was just like, yeah, I would probably have that many pizza boxes because you didn't live like next to the dumpster. It was a hike.
We had a pretty convenient dumpster chute.
Like a trash chute.
Shoot, but the pizza boxes were way too big for that.
Yeah, see, there you go. Makes perfect sense.
So that's why we didn't stack trash up. We weren't fucking gross.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, not then at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're tuning in listening, you're probably wanting us to talk about your guys' brand new short, which is called Real Mature.
Real mature.
Yeah, it's fun to say. Real mature.
It is exciting.
Yeah, and we're going to get to that in just a couple minutes, but I just want to give a brief moment of context for anybody listening. So as we said, you guys have been out in LA for around 5.5 years, and you literally moved out there to get in like the movie business, right?
No.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's why
I thought he said no.
I moved out there to become a prestigious film director. I think it took you a minute when we were out here to find your place in that.
Yeah.
In the biz, as the kids call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the dream. That was the goal. And there's been a lot of struggle, blood, sweat, and tears since then.
Yeah. And so how many, like, I know you guys have both been involved in some really cool stuff, but just for you two, how many different short films have you produced so far?
Frightoverse has been around for 3 years, and we've made, let's just list them off. We'll start with M is for Misotheism.
Do you want to start with that? I mean,
we're going to go
Graveyard Shift.
Oh, yeah.
Because we made the teaser for Graveyard Shift.
Graveyard Shift has some stories if you want to ask DJ about.
No, we're not gonna visit Graveyard Shift.
That'll be a follow-up podcast.
Yeah.
So Graveyard Shift, M is for Misotheism.
Yep.
Christmas Requiem. The Sting. There was something before the Sting.
No, I think it was the Sting.
The superhero one.
That was after the Sting.
That was after
Animal Man.
No, wait, it was the Sting, Dukes and Gun. Animal Man, Chomp.
What do we do after Chomp?
I think this is, we did Five Nights.
We did Five Nights.
We did Five Nights at Freddy's.
Which is a video game that a buddy of mine asked us to help him try and create a web series pitch for.
That's awesome.
And before, right as we were about to release it, Warner Brothers picked up movie rights for it.
Yeah, making pretty much all of our efforts completely pointless.
Did you get a cease and desist, or they don't even care?
They don't even care. They don't even care. Although Ken directed that one, and I'm pretty proud of it. I think he did a really good job. I just produced it.
Yeah,
but I think we did good work. I think
it turned out pretty cool.
Those one with
if there are Five Nights at Freddy's fans out there, you should definitely check out our short because I think there's enough in there for you guys to get a kick out of it.
That was the one with the security guard, right?
Right.
Yeah, that was great. I love that one.
Yeah,
cool.
I think it's super cool that you guys are doing stuff as opposed to, I imagine, I don't know, 80% of people who live out there, they wait for stuff to be given to them, and it's awesome because you guys are just doing it. And once you do good enough work, people will notice. And I think that's the way to do it. That's very punk rock of you. So high five.
High five.
Yeah.
Part of the reason we did that though was because DJ and I both didn't go to film school.
Yeah.
He got his degree in creative writing. I got my degree in sociology and went and got some of my master's in philosophy. And I came out here for nonprofit stuff. And when I fell into cinematography coming via photography, I knew I had to learn practical techniques still. And the only way to learn them was do it film school style. So I was reading these film school books because Los Angeles has all these fucking books you can check out from the library. So I just made it a cheap, free, cheap homemade film school.
University of Ken.
Yeah, exactly. And dude, I learned so much, but then I was I need to apply this practically. And so that's why we started doing shorts, And then we got to a point where it's all right, now we're producing quality content. We're trying to do this other stuff. But it's just funny how you go in stages, and you talk about people waiting for work to come to them. That's all my buddies, and when I work on bigger stuff, I know it's above my scale of things. But it's is it fun? Is it why you love making movies? Or is it something you're doing for a paycheck?
Yeah, it's interesting because you actually, even though it took you a while to get into cinematography, you've been doing photography forever.
16 years.
Yeah. But I remember when we first came out here, I have written 3 features at this point. 2 I still hope to get produced. 1 was just a fun little experiment. And you came to me about Mr. Theism. That was for ABCs of Death 2. And they had a short film contest.
Yeah, I was going to say, briefly explain that. Just 2 sentences.
ABCs of Death?
Yeah, like what was
a horror anthology. It's a horror anthology, and
26 short films, all one letter of the alphabet.
Yeah.
And M was the open one for the contest. So we had to pick an M like a word that starts with M, and make a short film about it in 5 minutes.
And at that point, I was already working at SourceFed, which is a YouTube news channel. So I had some good connections there, and I thought we could do something pretty cool. So we went for it, and we got Joe Beretta, who was a host at SourceFed, Baratz and Beretta. He's over at Defy Media, working with the Smosh guys now, and we also got Harley Morenstein from Epic Mealtime.
That was a big get, right?
Yeah, to drop in for role, and it was such a funny, like, I shot with something with him for work, and he and I kind of hit it off, and he was a really cool dude. And so I just hit him up. I was like, "Hey, I'm doing this with Joe Beretta. Would you be into it?" He's like, "Sure." And it wasn't until he was up on set that I was like, "Oh, this is a thing. This is happening." And it was cool. And
I think most of that communication happened through like Twitter direct
message.
Yeah. We were kind of like, is he really gonna come?
Yeah. It just felt like it was so funny. And then he showed up. He was great. And after that, it was just kind of like, we should just do it. We should just do it. And so we cranked out most of those shorts we listed off in the last year or so. And we learned a lot. Like that, we look back at some of those older ones. We're like,
yeah.
So much
it
better.
Makes you mad the things that you messed up or that you could have done better.
But Ken's right. It's kind of our film. So like he was looking at like this was kind of our film school.
Mm-hmm. Tell everybody where they can find the shorts.
Frightoverse, youtube.com/Frightoverse, FRIGHTOVERSE.
Sweet name.
Verse.
On top of that, as we were trying to do those shorts, we were trying to make the channel kind of a thing. We did some shows with a popular YouTuber, Trisha Hirschberger. And I'm actually pretty proud of those. That's not something we came out here to do, but I'm pretty proud of them. And some other cool things. It's a fun channel, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot about the Texorcist. So
we did 9.
We did 9 of them.
The Texorcist is a real good one.
Nice.
Documentary style flick.
Yeah.
So the one you're working on now is Magic Number 10.
Number 10.
Yeah, and what's different about this one is you guys didn't write it, correct?
Right. That is correct.
And the other 9, did DJ write them all? Did Ken write? Did you split them?
I think a majority of them we co-wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm not a writer. I like writing poetry and stuff like that. So there were a few times where I wrote scripts and then would still give them to DJ to actually make them into a script.
Yeah, the Sting you directed, and
right.
and Mr. Theism
was my story, and the Sting was my story. Texorcist was one we came up on purely together.
Yeah.
But like, even when I was the writer, I was still giving DJ the story to write into a script form. So
okay,
nothing, none of our shit would have been done if he wasn't writing them.
Gotcha. So this one, you haven't had any input in the story at all, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What like take me kind of through that and tell us as much about the story, as you feel comfortable.
I'll open up.
Yeah. So Ken is I see Ken as like the main producer on this project because he's the one that brought it together.
So here's what happened. Funny enough, I'm close enough to it. Give me 1 second.
Oh, hold on.
Hey, make sure and walk really sexy for us.
Walk sexy for us.
There it is.
So right off the shelves, Disposed Of by Andrew Bonazelli. Now, this was in a Fangoria Fangoria article. So I love music and movies. Like, they're almost equal for me. I'm in the movie world because I'm a shitty musician. So,
Ken scored some of our stuff too, by the way.
Yeah, I did.
So he's not that shitty.
Cool.
Disposed Of is fictional postcards with photography taken for the postcards, and there was a 5-song EP that was released with it. And so you listen to the music and you read these really depressing post-suicidal postcards, and you realize like there's this love story being told in this really sad, traumatic, and extreme way. I fell in love with it, dude. I was like, this is the kind of stuff I want to do. So I reached out to this guy just saying, like, I'm a big fan of your work. I'm a filmmaker. If you ever wrote a short story, I'd love to try and make it. Like, totally shot in the dark. Like, this guy's not going to get back to me.
Yeah.
He gets back to me and he's like, oh my God, I just watched Misotheism. You guys are great. I love your work.
Are you serious?
No. I'm like, sick, man. Like, that was our second short film, you know? Like, that was still us learning how to do this, you know?
Yeah.
So, I reached out to him. We kept going back and forth.
To give you a sense of like where we were at with Misotheism, we had like Joe lying down on the street in the middle of downtown LA. His cars
in front
came
of
by.
Patty's Pub, dude. In front of Patty's Pub. We shot in front of Patty's Pub without a permit, and like this is whatever. Like at this point, they can't do anything about it. So, but, like, we could have gotten so screwed that night.
Well, it was funny because we had a spot lined up to shoot, and
a big party came in down that area. Like in downtown, there's open warehouses. So you can like rent a warehouse for the night and just throw a big ass party in it, and that's what happened that night.
Yeah, and
that's
so we had,
cool.
we had to relocate, and I think it was near the middle of the night we realized like, oh shit, this is the exterior shot for Patty's Pub from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And so we had Joe lying down in the street, and cars are pulling by like, is he okay? Is he okay? Yeah, we're shooting something. Good, get out of here.
Yeah, keep going.
Stewart.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is the short that Andrew sees is like, oh man, I'm amped on this.
Yeah, and like it was really cool. He described it recently in our Indiegogo starter. That I still said starter. I'm trying not to say Kickstarter. I'm still saying it. Indiegogo campaign.
Yeah.
It's like Kickstarter is like a verb now. All of a sudden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Andrew
like
described it as that Misotheism was not intentionally ironic, and it had like the right tone, and it was just the way he described it was like, damn, like that's an artist that we relate with, that like understands our material, and that's a good feeling, you know.
So I'm imagining a parallel. Of course you guys saw Forgetting Sarah Marshall, right?
Yes.
It's the scene where they're surfing, and he's like, I was going through Sarah's iPod, and it was a lot of crap, and then I saw yours, and I listened to it, and I was like, it's actually pretty good. And I forget what he described it as. It was like a goth something. Yeah. But anyway, it was like that moment where you're like, oh, he actually like really gets what we were trying to do.
Yeah, exactly.
When we thought nobody would get what we were trying to do.
Nobody, like, dude, I mean, like, when your first thing, like, we made a joke out of it because your first thing was like, so why does that guy have 2 exclamation points on his back? And it's like, no, it's an upside down cross. Yeah. Like,
we're like, we ruined it. We fucked up everything.
It looked like 2 exclamation points to Haas.
Yeah.
It made me think of Metal Gear. Whenever, yeah. Huh? What was that noise?
Dude, so then he sent me a feature-length script and a short script, and the short script was real mature. And for the last year and a half, I have tossed and turned and wanted to produce this thing and pitched it to everybody I know with money. Like, look, I just need like $5 to $10 grand, please, 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 you know. And mostly it was because we were trying to get some like real talent in there, you know.
Yeah.
We love our friends, and like our friends do great work, and they've always surprised us and blown us away. But like we wanted a name because we wanted this thing to get traction, you know.
Right.
At the end of the day, we ended up having to produce it ourselves, and we still think we're putting out a pretty damn good product, you know.
Yeah, I think it's the interesting thing about working with somebody else's work is typically when we would write it, if we ran into an issue, we'd probably like write around the issue. Right? Like we'd either like if a scene was too complicated, we'd cut it out.
Yeah.
Or if we didn't,
or we'll film it from somebody else's point of view.
Yeah,
from far
exactly.
away.
Yeah, exactly. And then if we didn't have like if we didn't think we had an actor to fill a role, we just rewrite the role to somebody that we worked with before or whatever. And so it put us in a position where we felt the need to push ourselves a little bit more. Like there's a lot of graphic material in it, and I think normally we would try to tone it down out of our like ability, for fear of not being able to accomplish it. But this was somebody else's thing, so it's kind of like, well, either we do it or we don't, you know?
Right. Yeah, you don't want to like, hey, we like it, but can we change these 33 things?
Exactly. Can we completely change it?
Yeah.
And so it really pushed us more. And so we've gone pretty far on a limb. I feel like this is the most out on a limb we've been since Misotheism.
Yeah.
That's cool. Is what's the author's name again? I'm sorry.
Andrew Bonazelli.
Okay, is he local to you guys?
He's actually from Pennsylvania, so he actually flew out here for the filming, which was dope. He was out here for our whole principal photography.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. You can find his books and everything on Amazon, and I highly recommend it. Or you can give to our Indiegogo campaign and get some of his work as reward signed.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and could be a super cheesy question with no payoff. Do you know if he's on Twitter?
He is not on Twitter.
Yeah, good for him.
He
leave a little mystery,
Yeah. He writes for Decibel Magazine, which is a big metal magazine.
Okay.
So he's pretty connected to the music world, and he very appropriately despises certain things. But Facebook's his only social media, and he uses it with quite sardonic attitudes.
Yeah.
But like, what better way to bond with somebody? Because like bonding over something you love is like, that's all right. But bonding over something you hate, that's where it's at. The appropriate amount of hate. What kind of involvement did he have during the shoot? Was he just kind of a bystander? Did you allow him to have input to things? Did you put him in like as a cameo, anything like that?
We put him in a little metal box in the corner and told him that he couldn't say shit to anybody ever.
Who's in the box?
Yeah.
It was funny. He, I again, going back to the whole, like the fact that we weren't the writers of this, I was worried that we would misinterpret anything. Like, because it's a surreal script, we're shooting it a certain way. And to me, there's a lot of like dark humor in it, Yeah. And it's like, I want our actors to play off that. So there were times where we would, direct the actors into a certain way. And then we'd kind of like look back at him like, was that okay? And he was just like, cool.
Yeah. Because there's things that can naturally change no matter what script it is from the script to
once you start shooting,
just because the nature of it. So every time we change something, I was like, and I early on out here, I would say probably within my first year out here, I wrote something that somebody else ended up was trying to direct, and I got dicked around hardcore on it. And I didn't want him to feel the same way. Like I didn't want him to feel disrespected in any way.
Yeah.
So, but he was super chill. Like he was very amiable to all the changes we made. It was very cool. It was very cool working with him.
That's cool. That's very cool. Can you tell us anything about the plot without giving everything away? I know he's kind of surreal. It's kind of a horror kind of thing.
We can call it
psychosexual horror
thriller. Yes. Okay. Yeah, and
everything. Which I would now add comedy to.
I feel like
comedy.
Pretty subtle. I feel like the comedy's it's got a pretty black sense of humor. So if you find scenes in No Country for Old Men funny,
oh man,
this funny.
That cattle gun is hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we described a little bit in our Indiegogo video. Our protagonist is dead.
Yeah.
And kind of looking over his last relationship, and not handling it well.
So he's not being real mature.
He's not.
But that's the cool part about like explaining it this way. The cool part is that like the audience will get to see this guy's world.
Yeah.
Like now that we've because we weren't sure if we were gonna say in the marketing process that he was dead or not.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
Now that we've talked about the fact that he's dead, it's kind of like open for the viewers to say like, well, what does that mean? Like, what are we gonna see? So that's actually something that's exciting us on the producing side of like, we can't wait to show you guys this guy's world, his real mature world.
Yeah, it was difficult to come up with what to tell the audience. But we tried to do another Kickstarter before that didn't work out very well. And one of the things I learned is you need to come to your audience when you're doing a crowdfunding thing as what's the word I'm looking for?
Transparent.
No, the contributors, like investors. They're investors. They're not at that point. They're not so much they are an audience, but they're also at least as much investors.
Yeah, even though they're not going to get money back, they want to know they're not wasting their money.
Exactly. So you don't want to. My natural instinct as a creator is to keep things close to the vest and let the audience experience them whatever. But it's like they're investors, so they need to know what the hell they're given to.
Okay, so I have a kind of strange question. I feel like we probably have almost everyone listening that is listening because of State Lines has no clue what like a movie set is like. So even though this is like super basic stuff, kind of tell everybody what it's like. How do you put things together whenever, like before you're getting ready to shoot? What's the process? How do you guys do it? And then once you actually do start shooting, what's like an average day of shooting like? You hear all the time, hurry up and wait. But it sounds like you guys, you know, since you're renegades and don't get permits, you might have to go really fast. What's a shooting experience like with Frightoverse?
Well, there's a few primary elements you need on set. One is cocaine. The other is, no, I'm kidding.
Realistically, you know, I continue to crawl in this world, and like one of the things that you see on set, like professional sets outside of what we do, is there's too many people.
Okay, yeah.
They're needed because you need everybody in 10 minutes, and then you don't need everybody for the remaining 50 minutes of that hour. So it makes more sense to run it in the hurry up and wait style. But see, when you're working with like lower budgets and you can't afford 20 people, you know, it makes a lot more sense for us to film 6 to 8 pages a day, as challenging as that might be.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like a normal feature with a big budget,
sometimes gets off 3/4 of a page.
Yeah,
you know,
you were just working on a feature a couple weeks back. Like, how many pages did they tend to get through?
What feature
we got through? The most we got through in a 16-hour day was 4 pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what it was?
We film 8 pages in a 10-hour day.
Yeah.
Can you name drop and tell us whose movie was it?
You know, I'm not supposed to.
Not allowed to say.
When it comes out, he'll
it was cool though. I got to work with some cool people. I'll say that I got to work with some people from Battlestar Galactica and some people from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can follow Ken on Twitter at 3D Alchemist, and he'll name drop that movie when it comes out.
Yeah.
You
should have been on Sons of Anarchy, by the way. Both of you, really.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Look at your faces.
Look at our faces.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this podcast and you can't see our faces, we're grizzled old men.
Yes. And if you're watching, no one can tell.
In the body of 28-year-old
men.
Yes. In the body of 28-year-old virile Norse gods.
I like the way you say it, Haas.
Right?
Good.
And no one can see how tall you are because you're sitting, but you're both extremely tall.
We're tall boys.
Tall boys.
But yeah, I think on our set, I think it depends on what you're doing. I think for like performers, there can be a lot of hurry up and wait because they got to come in and do the role. But I think there's like, Ken's the director of photography, and so him and the gaffer and that crew side of things are always like perpetually working. I think you maybe take a little bit of a break now and then lunch, and that's pretty much it. I'm probably on my feet next to them the next amount, and I'm always trying to figure out shots. I'm looking at what shot we're doing next.
As the director?
Yeah, as the director. Yep. And although Ken is credited as the director of photography on this, it was very much a co-directing type deal,
which we've done before in the past, and it's worked
really
out.
It's kind of like there's a reason you're labeled the director of photography,
right? But like at the same time, like, you know, in the film world, the DP does not have any say over actors or even blocking. You know, the ADs are the one doing it. They're giving the DP his time, but like it's very structured. And one of the best parts about working indie is that we get to stretch our roles a little bit, you know, like, and that's the hardest part, but also the best part is like our most rewarding things are where our challenges are biggest. You know, our space is limited, so we can't just say, move this wall, we want the camera here. You know, it's like, no, we have to figure out a way to get that camera in that tight space and find a lens that's going to still work for the shot, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, like, we've been limited by our gear and by our crew, but we still find a way to, in pre-production, plan out how we'll attack those issues with like the greatest amount of ease. Because really, at the end of the day, it just needs to be a well-oiled machine. Like, if DJ and I get caught up on a shot and we do 8 takes of something, well, now we need to move through the next 2 or 3 shots pretty quick.
Yeah, like, quickly. I think you and I think that's one of the benefits of doing stuff the way that we do that, and also the fact that we've been working together for a long time, is we move through that stuff pretty quickly.
Yeah,
we're pretty good. We know how to stretch a buck, and we're pretty good at making a plan for the day that we stick to Well, pretty closely. Like you said, if we go a little over, we shoot in other stuff, but we get through it. And it's very rare for us to go over on time.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
pretty
good.
That's awesome.
Well, I think it's also good because we're not paying people out money, and so it's kind of like we don't want to be the dicks about it. So we just make sure we're efficient. We're efficient.
Yeah.
Or try to be at least.
Yeah. How does the relationship go between director and DP? Like, if you can, maybe think of an example of like a scene where like you're torturing somebody or something, and like the director has a vision. Do you tell the DP like, "Hey, I just want it to be intense," and then he comes up with the best way to make it intense? Like, how does that work?
Well, one, it depends on the scene, but it also depends on your relationship. I can, because of his career path, has been a lot more sets than I have.
Porn,
other than our own, since I want to direct. Like the only sets I've been on are the ones that I'm directing, so I only really know my relationship with him and other cinematographers that I've worked with. And it depends, for me at least, when we're working together. It's very collaborative, and I tend to go with I have a specific feel in mind, and I try to convey that as best I can to Ken. Sometimes I have a very specific, like I really want this. And then it's just a matter of like Ken facilitating that, or most times making it better.
That's good.
Because he's more versed with, like it's it's his gaffer, and he knows the gear and he knows all that stuff.
So you'll tell him, for instance, "Hey, I want something low angle," and then he'll like, "Okay, we should use this lens and light."
Well, I think, know what, the best example I can give is there's a pretty graphically violent shot at very beginning in the thing, or it's a graphically violent action. The shot isn't that violent, but and it just wasn't selling for me that we got in principle. Like I just wanted something more, and so I told Ken I wanted a shot of Ben walking in, looking scary, and he came back at me with like, I think this is how that would work, and it was better. It was better than I originally pitched, and now I can't think of it any other way than the way we shot it. I'm trying to remember what I was originally thinking.
You just wanted him to come in you just kind of wanted to see his feet and his like pan up into his hand up to his head.
Yeah, and you had the low angle shot where he kind of walks into frame.
So instead, I turned it into, and here's the thing: as a DP, is like early on in my career, where I wasn't talented enough to be DP, and I should have been AC in this job. A director handed me a script and said, "Write up the shot list," and I was like, "I thought you were supposed to tell me like what kind of shots you wanted. Like that's what I've been told." Or like one of the things, I had another director tell me was like, "I want this to feel like a '70s Scorsese movie." Okay, so what else?
No problem.
That's it. Like that's it. So it's like, okay, so I'm just cheating his angles. Okay, like what else am I supposed to do? So like I've had times where I got too much input and not enough input. But like the thing with DJ is I get to tell him like, dude, I've already read the script. These 4 scenes I want to shoot this way. But then there is going to be a time where like in this shot where he needs something for the edit. He's an amazing editor. And so he picks up even more so like where if he has any areas where his directing might fall through the cracks, the editing is really strong. So he knows in this moment in between us, we missed the shot we need in this. We need this guy coming in and making him feel like a real monster. So I shot it low from the ground and we did a focus rack in the right way that kind of makes Ben feel much bigger than he is.
Cool.
And that's that moment that like I knew that we needed to make Ben look bigger than he was. That was the best way to execute it. So once DJ saw it, like it was, oh yeah, that's pretty much what we needed, And it's great in those moments when I can understand what it is that he's looking for. And again, that's the good part of working with somebody that you've known for how long? 13 years, something like that.
And I think the other thing that helps is when you're the director, you need to know what you want. So when you talk to your director of photography and you're conveying something and he comes at you with another thing, you're like, oh, that accomplishes what I'm trying, what I feel like this scene needs. And that's ideally when I think when a film set is working, that everybody's bringing their best to the table and making the product better. And so when I go to Ken, I was like, I want this feel, and this is what I was thinking. And Ken's like, well, I think the best way to accomplish that is this. fuck yeah, like that's what you want. You know what I mean? When you're talking to the actor, you're like, I'm trying to get this feeling out of it, and they come at you with like an experience that informs that, and you're like, yes, do that thing, do convey that, you know, because everybody's focused on their little element, and so bringing that together and in the best way possible is what makes your product better.
That's cool. That's like kind of the nice thing about having like at least a little budget, because I know that you probably pride yourselves on being, to a certain extent, jacks of all trades. Mm-hmm. Like not only are you DP, but you're lighting and blah, blah, blah. But with a little bit of budget and with, more people, you can kind of specialize. And from what DJ was just saying, I think that's kind of whenever you can get your best product. Like you have to focus on what you're best at, and you focus on what you're best at, and together.
Well, and music, like movies, always a lot like music to me. So like going back to like your initial question of what we're on right now, talking about like these State Lines, contributors or State Lines readers who might not know much about a movie set. Like a lot of people have been to a concert before, and you've seen a band work together. And it's like, if you imagine the drummer to just start seizing up on stage, all of a sudden that song is going to be terrible, and the whole crowd's experience is going to be bad. And it really is that dramatic. Like if one person misses a note, everybody hears it. That's how a movie is, So it's like if one person on set's not doing their job the right way, and that's the fun of it, is that it's this big collaboration with not just 4 or 5 people even, but like 20 or 30 people, and you've got everybody giving their little skill sets, and then like talking about like the multi-roles, like if a musician goes out with an acoustic guitar, there's only so many types of songs they can play and sing by themselves. Yeah. But you add in an electric guitar, or drums, bass, like all of a sudden keyboards, you've got more going on and you can do more.
Yeah. So Ken, what instrument are you?
Oh shit.
That's a weird instrument.
You need me. I'm the one that lays down the bass line.
Slapping the bass.
Slapping the bass.
The other thing is, it's not just the people on stage; it's like the roadies that are bringing out the instruments and all the people backstage. Like there's so many elements you don't even see, to go with that metaphor.
The lighting director, the
band manager / producer.
Yeah.
Right. So
the sound mixer. This guy used to make sound.
Yeah, I still do from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Yeah. No, heck no. It's one of those things where I don't necessarily know exactly what I'm doing. Right. Like when I push this fader or change this knob, I don't really know what it's doing, but I can hear it. Like, okay, I know it sounds better. I don't know why, but it sounds better. So that's good. Since we brought up the idea of budget, and we're here talking about this new thing that you guys are trying to crowdfund, tell us a little bit about what you've done so far, what you're trying to raise, and what is that money going to go towards?
Well, we've already finished. We self-finance principal photography,
which means
which means that it's mostly done.
Yeah. So we had to secure a few locations. We had to secure some actors. We had to pay for some crew, and we had to pay for props, food, that sort of stuff.
Sidebar. I don't want to distract you too much. Did you do any really cool locations?
Yeah, we shot at a cool little restaurant, tiny little cute little restaurant.
Yeah, shot in North Hollywood a little bit, just a little bit there.
A big chunk of it takes place inside Redding's apartment. Yeah. So most of the film is inside, but we shot at another house to pick up some stuff and
yeah, and just
film a big party scene, stuff like that.
Yeah. And so Prince photography is just the majority of it, is the bulk of it, is the spine of the movie. And so we were able to finish that, and we knew because we were paying our actors and we were paying our crew, that we were going to need a little bit of money on the back end. And so what we're trying to raise for is all of post-production. So it's not just as we're talking about behind the scenes things that you don't really think about. It's not just shooting the thing. We need somebody that's going to color it, make it look dope. We need a sound design person to make it sound good. We need
to push that fader knob.
Yeah, we need score.
I'm clearly available.
We need the score. there's a narrator, and we're talking to some cool people to possibly be the narrator.
Morgan Freeman?
Not Morgan Freeman. Not Morgan Freeman.
But maybe in a world.
Yes.
In a world.
In a world.
Dude, you should get Lake Bell to do it.
We should get nice.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, and then we're going to there's a couple practical effects things that we're looking at shooting in the next couple weeks that
Make
we
it
need
a little bit bloodier.
Yeah. And
Nice.
and we're even that's pretty much the bulk of it.
Yeah.
And so it's just filling in the pieces. It's filling in the pieces of what we already have and then making all that look amazing.
At this point, we've packed a pretty large amount of coal into a diamond, and we need someone to come polish it off.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is with these with film, you could do something in principal photography, and if the little extras aren't good, even if you did a great job with the principal stuff, it'll still be a crappy movie.
Yeah.
So you could have filmed the most beautiful thing, but if the sound design sucks and they're walking and the steps aren't timed correctly, or what, these little things that nobody thinks about.
Yeah.
That's really what makes the movie, because you're not going to watch it if those little, the skin, the muscles, to go around the spine that you're talking about.
Yeah.
If that's not exceptional, nobody's going to want to see it. So
exactly.
Yeah, even though the bulk of it's done, you still got plenty to do. It sounds like, to make it as good as I know you guys want to make it.
Absolutely.
And that's been a big, that was a big hurdle for us with our previous shorts. Was like, it was just us, and we weren't trying to put a lot of money into them.
Right.
So it was like, okay, well, sound's not great here. We can't really go ADR everything, so we're just gonna roll with it and hope that everyone doesn't hate us too much for how bad that sounds.
Yeah. And there was a sense of, and I think there was like a Cannonball Run sense to it too, because I was pushing us to do shorts like on a YouTube schedule where you're trying to crank it out pretty regularly, and you're just trying to crank out material. And that's, in hindsight, not the most cohesive way to create shorts.
Or sustainable.
Yeah, it's sustainable, and also like we knew, and especially looking back, like we know we are doing better. We're capable of better if we actually run it like a legit movie set. And so that's what we're doing with Real Mature. We're taking our time. Like, we haven't done a short since Real Mature since a year ago. Since October is the last. 5 nights. 5 nights, yeah. But that was a few months ago. Yeah. And it was a lot later. Yeah. So it's been a while since you've done one. You rested up. Yeah. Now you're ready to give this one your all and start working it. Yeah.
What's the plan once it's done?
Well, the reason we're on a time crunch right now is our goal for first submission is South by Southwest, November 3rd.
Yeah, the late submission for South by Southwest is November 3rd.
Okay.
And our dream, and South by Southwest is kind of our dream. So if you're thinking about like, oh man, should I donate now or should I wait? Donating now would be very helpful.
Yeah. The big thing is with South by, there's a lot of festivals that we like and love, and we're not really too concerned about like, we want to take home TIFF. No shitting on TIFF if somebody wants.
Hey, you stop talking about my wife.
Lady. The Toronto International Film Festival.
There you go.
There's the landmark ones, Sundance. Cannes,
Gasparilla,
the Gasparilla.
Dude, we actually want to submit to Gasparilla because what better way to come home than
man?
Festival.
And
I'll work it with you. I'll pass out flyers and shit.
Hell yeah,
that'd be great. That's what some of the money for the crowdfunding is going to actually submit it, because the film festivals don't just take they take your short and your money, and then they decide whether your short is worthy to be in the film festival.
And they don't give you your money back if they say no. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I meant to ask, I'm curious, you might not know yet, but you probably do. I know you well enough. What this is just a very random specific question. What specifically are you going to try and do score-wise?
We're talking to one of them right now, and we have 2 backups. But it's one of the exciting parts of figuring this, like going through this crowdfunding part. Like, we need to secure a musician soon.
Yeah.
We have,
we have a couple options of traditional scoring it, like somebody sits down and does a score. But right now we're reaching out to some musicians to use some of their some stuff they already have to source it, kind of like Quentin Tarantino usually sources his soundtracks. He doesn't have traditional scores. I think Ennio Morricone's score for Hateful Eight is his first time to use a traditional score. And so we're kind of in talks with people now to see what we can.
Okay, so you're going to try and purchase songs that already are in existence.
To be specific, we would still be using a couple songs as a score. We would basically create the score out of a few songs. But yeah, we're talking about using a few songs.
That's pretty cool. Can you say anything about the style? I know you don't want to say what songs, but
there's a scene out right now. It's very hot, called doom metal and slash stoner metal. It actually came out of that Psych Sync scene.
Nice.
Seriously, psychedelic got a little bit into metal, and it created this slower genre of metal where it's not as fast, but it's still very hard pounding.
Yeah. The other way I like to compare it is, and again, this is what we're talking to people about, and so we'll see what we're able to get. But I compared it to a lot of the like electronic stuff people have been doing with movies like Drive and The Guest and You're Next and It Follows, but edgier and darker and grungier.
Okay, so kind of like a little bit 80s, kind of like the Drive thing, but
I wouldn't necessarily say 8. I probably
no. Okay,
yeah.
No, it's basically it's about tone. Like what DJ means when he talks about that is about tone.
Okay.
That it's gonna have a tone like the 80s, like even that, like we mentioned a few movies and instantly your mind thinks 80s because it's that synth sound that we've all associated with the tone of the 80s. So it's like there's a tone, and part of it comes from that, but it's more than that. It's also like, you know, a big inspiration for a lot of the scores we've done that I've written have been John Carpenter style themes. And we love John Carpenter, but this is a one time where it's like maybe we need something a little bit harder than John Carpenter, which is kind of crazy, you know, like John Carpenter's pretty hard. That's Halloween. That's dun 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 dun, dun, you know, like that's the scores of our childhood. So
John Carpenter hasn't returned our calls yet to score them.
But John, if you're listening.
But John, you know what? If you're listening to the State Lines podcast.
Or what about if you could get like the Mexican equivalent, Juan Carpenter? Dude,
and
one of my favorite
Haas
things.
is gonna get blasted for being racist.
It's a Simpsons joke. It was get me Steven Spielberg or the Spanish equivalent.
Everybody, just so you know, the Simpsons did it first. Okay.
Yes, Steven Spielbergo. One of my favorite things, actually, whenever I've done videos, is scoring. Typically, I don't get to score. I just like steal whatever song I want to and throw it in. But I did do one series where I invented this band, and they were very self-important but awful. And so I wanted there to be just this kind of like driving, like jung 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 jung, like during the dialogue, like while they were just talking to each other.
Yeah.
And so a friend of mine, Matt, who's just insanely awesome musician in Nashville, I told him, I was like, all right, bro, I want some sort of kind of like 90s alternative kind of slow plodding thing mixed with Napoleon Dynamite. And he freaking pulled it off. It's so cool. It's like one of my favorite things that I've ever had the privilege of like commissioning, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's just like this dung, 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 and then it'll break into these like dee, 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 dung, dung. So anyway, the reason that I brought that up is just the scoring and the music is one of my personal favorite parts of the whole process. I think probably very similar to Ken, since you're so into music like I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then there's DJ, who does not like music at all.
I do not like music. I wish we could live in a world without it.
That's ridiculous. Okay, so you're crowdfunding. I think I saw the other day in your first week you went over 50%, right?
Yeah, in our first week we went over 50%.
Yesterday was our first week, at the end of our first week.
Yeah.
And we're at like 3,200 or something.
Yeah,
That's
after
crazy.
this taping, we're at 54%.
That's great, man.
4%.
That's really great. I think that's how you want to do it. I know you said you've done one before that wasn't as successful, and I think going out of the gate
wasn't successful.
Yeah, as in we didn't get it financed.
How close were you? Do you remember?
We're not going to go there, but not at all. Well, here's the deal. We
felt great in the first week, and now, like, if we went by those standards, we'd feel like rock stars.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I learned a lot from that experience because, one, we hadn't done a lot at that point on set, so the number we kind of threw out to people was kind of guesswork. And of course, now, like, I have spreadsheets, and I know where every dime of that money is going that we're asking for. We're asking for $6,000, and I know where every dime of it's going to go to. And if we go over
DJ's pocket,
no, none of it's going to go to my pocket. We're not getting any profit off of it.
By the way, DJ's Pocket sounds like a cool band name.
It does sound like a cool band name, and so. And now, I know where parts are going. Again, like I said earlier, I kind of treated the people we reached out to as an audience instead of investors. And so I was very cagey about the language we used. We tried to subvert the typical, like, hey, give us money thing by just doing a teaser. And I don't think that conveyed anything. So that wasn't, we did a lot of things wrong. So for those wanting to start crowdfunding out there, know where the money's going. Specifically, not generally, like specifically.
Yeah.
Be candid about that. Be candid about what you're asking for money for. If you can produce any part of it yourself, I recommend doing that because it's cool to show people what it's going to look like. And try and keep what you're asking for manageable. We're asking for less money for this project than we asked for that. So keep your needs manageable, and try and do some cool stuff for the rewards, but that was another thing. I think our rewards stuff was a little too ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, even right now we're doing our rewards, and it honestly comes out to anywhere from 5 to 20% of that donation.
Yeah.
So like, if you're getting a lot of cool stuff in it, chances are it's taken away from the number that you're giving to us.
Right.
But like, we want that to be like, we want you to want to, if you're going to get Andrew's books, we want you to want to read them. If you're going to get a shirt, we want you to actually wear it, because hopefully that's going to, it's this weird shitty movie that my friends made, and you should totally watch it though.
But look at this cool shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like when it comes down to it, and that's the kind of the challenge of doing crowdfunding, like looking at it, I got to double check the numbers, but I think when you look at the percentage that the crowdfunding site takes out, when you look at the money set aside for any tax stuff, and you look at rewards, it's like that's managing the campaign is almost like 30 to 40% of the actual number.
Yep.
So that's something to keep in mind as well. Like if you have some sort of secret benefactor that could just hand you the money,
go that way.
Yeah, that might be the way to go.
My dog is an idiot. Oh, my God. He just
secret benefactor.
He just brought me this shirt.
Nice.
It's
trying to help.
I'm going to do a shout out here. I don't know. It's a current shirt.
Oh shoot, that's a Laundry Love shirt.
Yeah, man. Jason Sowell gave me this yesterday,
nice.
And it's in plastic and
brand new, hot off the press.
He thinks it's food, so he just brought it to me.
Hey, Jason Sowell, if you're watching this, I could use a shirt 2X.
There you go. Send one or two out to LA. Okay, so you know exactly where the money's going.
Yes.
Which is pretty awesome. I think having 50% in the first week is killer, and that will only encourage people to donate. Like week 2.5, week 3, if you go and look at it and they don't have any money, it's like, why would I just give this guy money? Yeah. They're obviously not going to make their goal. It's encouraging to know that you're over halfway there. So I feel compelled to empty out my portfolio, which is baseball cards and lottery tickets.
That's
pretty sweet.
So
pretty good portfolio.
They're coming your way.
It's tough, man, because they say like you make 75% of your money in the first weekend and the last weekend. So that's like super nerve-wracking for people running the campaign, right? Because it's like, okay, so now we have 50%. What do we do for the next 3 weeks where we're still trying to get this? We want people to continue to grow interest in it, but we also don't want to like hey, every day on Facebook, hey friends,
Yeah.
don't you love me enough to give money? Like, no, like we need everyone to see it, but like at the end of the day, it's about like if you go to it right now and you're like, oh, I want to support these dudes, that $5 right now means more to us now. Like, don't wait until the end of the month. Like, we could use it now because we need to continue to grow so that we can get to that point where we can start to breathe a little bit easier. You know, like obviously we hit 50% in our first week. I can't say like we couldn't have predicted a better way. Like that's a great breathing room. But like we got another 50% to go, you know? So it's like we gotta keep pounding.
Also,
hold on one second. I'll put the URL in the like description and stuff, but just in case somebody doesn't have it in front of them, do you want to shout it out so they can go there?
The easiest way to get to it is go to Indiegogo and look up Real Mature.
Okay.
It'll be the first thing, REALMATURE. Real Mature.
Nice.
Like the joke, Real Mature.
Real Mature.
That's the easiest way to go find it. There is a short link, but there's a lot of letters and dashes and stuff in it.
Yeah, who cares?
So just go look up Real Mature on Indiegogo. That's the crowdfunding site we went with. And the reason we went with that, again, because we'd already done principal photography. Mm-hmm. So any money we get, we can use.
Yeah. It's
not like if our project, if we didn't have anything, we would have gone for the like all or nothing style of something like Kickstarter, or Indiegogo has an option for that too. Yeah. But since like any money we get, we can use, and not to state the obvious, but if we make more, like the 6,000 we're asking for is the absolute minimum that we need to like make this thing rad.
Yeah.
If we go over that, we can make it more rad.
Right. Then you can get John Carpenter.
We can get John Carpenter to score the thing, you know?
Juan.
So again, like contribute early, contribute often. I don't know. Like just tell your friends, tell your enemies.
Honestly, another big thing, like, you know, I know people from State Lines know us because there's, you know, one, we were contributors before, but also like, you know, we know some of the same people because it's partly your circle, Haas, and we were part of that for a while. So it's like, honestly, if you know us, like sharing this helps us a ton too.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to give to it. Like I'm broke as hell. Every dime I had, I spent on this thing. So, and like, you know, money's great, but like honestly, sharing it helps huge. Like if you get another 20 or 30 eyes on it, that's huge for us. So
yeah, exactly. And I think also it's important to state with the State Lines people that like this isn't just like horror, blood, gore, and boobs just for the sake of it. I think it's not. We try not to touch on this stuff because we don't want to sound pretentious, but I think we're talking about important things with the idea of relationships ending and the idea of like moving past the things, moving past your damage, basically, like moving past the things that are holding you up and keeping you from being real mature,
filling your hole.
Yeah,
I have a set anecdote, but I don't know if I should tell it. Like it's not bad, but I'm like, is it important?
What is it? Do
you guys think it's important?
Okay. Hold on. One second. Like like Haas, you know us, like you know. Like we don't just do shit to just do shit. Like we try to make our stuff mean.
Oh yeah, please. I eat this stuff up. I eat it up. So go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's what I hope people understand. Like it's funny, it's sexy, it's gory, but it's also meaningful.
Yeah, and I mean you guys are probably the two biggest like movie lovers that I know, and I think that anything that you make is going to have a fondness for whatever subject it is you're tackling, whether it's horror or if you were to just do a stupid dude bro comedy, it would be full of like references to like, you know, the Marx Brothers or something.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely meaning behind what you guys have, like thematically, as well as just like, hey, we want to get like a good interesting point of view across.
Yeah. I think stupid dude bro comedy is a good name for a band too.
Did you ever do anything with the disc golf idea?
Oh man, you had to bring it up. No, that was a good.
Funny enough, though, I was shooting something recently where I thought like, oh my god, if this movie actually has pre-distribution set up, like trees could totally get made.
Haas is referring to a disc golf script that I was writing. Ken and I came up with the story, and it was a good. I learned a lot from it.
Would you have? I know it was a comedy. Would you have classified it as a dude bro comedy?
No, it was meant to be a comedy.
It was a comedy in the style of Big Lebowski.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes it sound way better than it actually was. What was your set anecdote that you were going to share earlier?
No, it rolls off of what you were saying. So like, we cast a friend of ours as the main character in Real Mature, not because he's a friend, but because he's one of the most character-driven people I've ever met.
James Franco.
Exactly.
Yep.
Good friend of ours comes and hangs out all the time. No,
Jamie Franks.
Old Jamie. So Ben is like devoted to character acting, and going off of like what DJ was talking about with like just how like there's actually like purpose to what we're doing in this short film. Ben like comes like ready to get emotional about these characters. Like this is the kind of guy that like he was in Animal Man as the Animal Man, and he sent me a picture of how he was working out at like those like playground gyms. He was like working out at those playground gyms to train to be an animal for Animal Man. And I was like, this dude loves his work. Like he takes it super seriously and he just gives it his all. So we knew we were going to get like a ton of character work out of him. And watching him take on Redding, you saw him take home the attitude of Redding. And that's almost scary, It's one of those moments where it's like, yo, remember that was just a character you were playing, bud. Like, you walk out this door tonight, you get to take that off,
Yeah. Calm down, like, Johnny Depp.
But that's like, part of the difficulty when you're making film is that you have to remember it's an art form. And like, people did go through like emotionally taxing emotions and feelings to help us fucking make a movie. Like that's so like I love my friends for being that committed,
Yeah, that's cool.
To help us make something that like we get to make a statement on art, but also a statement on life and death too,
Yeah.
Solid, guys. Yeah, solid. I'm excited. I can't wait to get this thing out there. And I'm not gonna lie to you, we've got listeners literally around the world right now.
All across state lines
and national lines.
National lines.
Yeah. And
spin off of state lines is national lines.
Yeah, right. It's even bigger. Universe lines.
People will be like, why is this different? Like, we understood when Gawker created Gizmodo, but what's the difference?
It's not different in any way.
It's just bigger.
It's not even bigger. It just has a slightly different name. Explosion. Anything else you guys want to chat about or let the people know about this short, about you guys, about the crowdfunding campaign? Anything we didn't cover?
If you come out to LA
or if you live there already.
Not if you live here already.
Not if you live here already.
Purely to people if you come out to LA to make movies. Feel free to hit up people that are making movies that aren't big, because like we're constantly looking to add to our pool of people who want to do, like, there's people that come out here that are like, I want to be an AD. I want to do nothing but assistant direct. And if for those of you who don't know what that is on set, that's just a super organized person yelling at everybody. Like, that doesn't take film set skills. That takes just an ability to get things done.
Yeah, which is amazing. Like, not everybody can do that.
People are amazing. I love them to death. And like, DJ and I would love for people like that to hit us up and want to be a part of making films with us. We hate having to put people in roles that they don't want to be doing. Yeah. Because we don't want to be doing those. Like, there's certain jobs on camera side that I don't want to be doing, but I do it when I need a paycheck, And so it's like, sometimes you're always thinking like, oh, what's my biggest connection? Just remember, like, whoever your connection is, Like, if it's somebody that we knew from state lines back in the day, like that circle, like, we'd love to have them come out and work with us if they wanted to. You too, Haas.
Yeah, man. There's somebody
begging you to get your ass back out here.
I want to come again so bad. There's a new girl that's been.
What is it?
No. Great. Now I'm gonna have to tag this explicit. Sorry, Mom, you can't listen to this one. There's a new girl that's been doing some stuff on State Lines who, like, she wants to be a writer. So I'll send her your way. She just wrote a thing about Craigslist misconnections.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you go to state-lines.com, I think came out yesterday. So hers is like the first one on there.
Awesome.
It's pretty funny. So she would definitely be somebody that we'd send that way just to write some stuff,
Yeah.
Just to do some writing.
Exactly.
It's going to be really weird if we don't use the video. Oh gosh, I think that means we're probably done, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I feel like we should do a follow-up though.
Take our shirts off.
I think the only thing I can say is, guys, if you like, what were some of my comparison points in the Indiegogo video?
Return of the Living Dead.
Return of the Living Dead, John Carpenter's Halloween. If you like those horror movies, you'll like this.
It's not like that at all.
It is not like any of them, but like it's the same. Like, if you're into that stuff, you'll be into this. If
you dig things like Nightcrawler, even.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal's new Nightcrawler movie,
Nice.
or from last year. Like that type of stuff. And also, if you're not into that and you contribute, like you're giving to people trying to do something, trying to create stuff instead of trying to tear stuff down, trying to do something in this world that is positive. And I always think that's cool. Like try and it's being a part of something,
Yeah, I've always said State Lines is just a playground for creative people to be creative. And if you are contributing to this campaign, all you're doing is you're adding on to the playground.
Yeah.
And even if it's not this campaign, like obviously I want it to be this campaign because we still need to raise some more funds, but like just any campaign, like if your friends are doing something and you have the ability to just throw a couple bucks their way or share it, like do it.
Yeah.
Because like we're all like, you could, our generation is like a generation full of like, oh, I don't want to do that job. I want my dream job of this and this and this. And like, in reality, like if you're pushing to do something, if you're fighting for it, if you're going after it, like help reward your friends. Like,
yeah.
That's the beauty of these crowdfunding things is what cost us, probably
a little more than that.
Yeah. Over $1,000 what cost us over $1,000. Only going to cost you like $5
for one Starbucks.
Yeah.
I can help a plucky upstart like Zach Braff make his movie.
Yeah, right. We're definitely not Zach Braff in this situation.
No shade to Zach Braff. I love him, but
But we're a little bit more underground than he is.
Support your indie guys.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thank you guys for being on. I want to do a follow-up maybe to this after your campaign is successful. After it's released, maybe we can talk a little bit more like specifically about the film.
After one Audience Choice Award at South by Southwest.
Can they like put something in like a memo when they give to us?
I think you can leave comments.
Okay.
You might be able to either memo in giving.
Haas, if DJ doesn't like this idea, can you cut it out?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
So, what if we said for State Line contributors, the three of us would get a podcast together, like a commentary podcast, Watch Real Mature. So only State Line contributors, like if they contribute and say State Lines in the comment or whatever, they get like a little free video.
A reward.
Commenting and doing a podcast after.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool, right?
Yeah, let us know in your giving if you're giving from State Lines, and we're gonna do something a little special specifically for State Lines contributors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Topless commentary.
We're going to do topless commentary and of Real Mature. And I think that's really cool. Yeah. Should be more like, what if we just get one State Lines contributor? We like put a limit.
This video we did just for one person. No, I think any State Lines contributor, any amount over $5.
Yeah,
like 5 is like the first tier.
Yeah.
So any amount over $5, you're gonna get a link to this video. Not this one, but the next.
We're gonna get something. We'll do something. Yeah, something special.
You know what else, guys? And this might be something you can use. We've been experimenting with Facebook promotion. What's cool, and you might have done it. I don't know, but you can.
One of the other shorts.
Okay. Yeah, you can limit it to $5, $10, $15, $20. You can have it run over a certain amount of days. You can be very narrow and focused with like who sees it as far as like what their interests are.
Right.
So whenever I post this podcast, it might be one that I might want to invest like $15 in, and I can try and get this in front of more people, like horror fans or whatever, and that'll just broaden our audience pool a little bit. So not only will we have like our normal listeners, but we have the potential for some people that haven't seen State Lines before and don't know you guys. So there you go.
That'd be awesome.
It's exciting.
Yeah, let's do it.
If you give from State Lines, let us know in
the comments.
In the comments, and we'll give you something a little extra.
Topless commentary.
Topless commentary.
Hashtag topless commentary. Okay. Both of you guys on the way out, tell us your Twitter handles in case anybody wants to follow you.
Yo, on the Twitters, I am 3D Alchemist. 3DALCHEMIST.
3D Shades.
If you want to hit me up,
Alchemist.
If you want to hit me up on Twitter as well, I'm at DJ Talks Trash. DJ TALKSTRASH. And,
nice.
Which may or may not be State Lines created.
Yeah, I created my Twitter account for the article I started writing on State Lines, which was Trash Talk.
I think that means you can sue him at some point.
I've got full ownership of your Twitter handle.
No.
Those were great articles, by the way. The only things that were maybe better than those were the Psych Syncs.
Nice.
Psych Sync wasn't better.
Psych Sync may have been better.
Cool, man. It was awesome to talk to you guys. I can't wait to catch back up in a couple weeks after a successful campaign.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll talk to you guys later.
Can we see the dog?
Hey, Blue, come here.
I wasn't talking about your wife.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I was joking.
Wow.
See, it's in headphones. She hates me, okay? I have the right.
He's just staring at me. Come here. Come here. All right, he's coming. He's moving slow. Here he comes. Come here. There he is.
You're my boy, Blue.
Blue. He's the star of State Lines podcasts. This is going to be real boring if we don't use the video. All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Take care.
See you, bud.
See ya.